We talk about burnout, but we keep doing it to ourselves. Because most people is like, hey, this guy very successful. They're not talking about how happy you are. They're talking about how rich you are, right?
With inflation and cost of living going up, right? If you are just constantly there in a company for like 10 years and you get like a raise of 5% a year, it's not gonna be a lot. But once you change job, you can potentially get anywhere between a good 10 to 20%.
So will you hire someone, right, that work a job 1 year quick to get the increment, work another job 1 year quick, 1 year quick, zero loyalty, that kind of people?
Interestingly, I'm one of those.
Oh, will you hire people like that?
There's this paradox between wanting free time and also wanting more money. It comes from our upbringing because in Singapore, we're competitive from the
I watch
get-go.
SpongeBob SquarePants. Patrick just watch TV, then the money comes. Okay, let's start the podcast lah. Today we're gonna come up with like a quarter life crisis topic lah. So I guess we can start by discussing about what y'all wanna be, right, when you were young versus what you are doing now. Maybe you can start with you lah.
Oh, I wanted to be an engineer. I'm now an engineer.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
So straightforward.
Straightforward. I wanted to be an engineer. I'm now an engineer. So like, okay, sure, I achieve what I want.
Is it the same type of engineering that you wanted to do?
Yes.
Did you have so you have an
Yeah,
idea
yeah.
of what kind?
Like I wanted to work in like semicon. Like I wanted to be like an electrical engineer, that kind.
Wait, you 3 years old, you know what semiconductor is already?
No lah, but I wanted to be an engineer.
Why do you assume he's 3 years old?
Okay, no, it was in secondary school. I wanted to be an engineer. Then I was amazed with like things like data, like hard disks and everything. So I wanted to work in like something similar. Then I eventually got into engineering in ITE, Poly, and then now I'm working as an engineer, and now I'm doing a degree in EEE. So I am on my way to becoming even more engineering.
Oh shit, what's
Like,
your what degree are you?
EEE.
I'm
Yeah,
I'm EEE degree also.
Oh my God.
But from where? NTU?
NTU. So now
Oh
I'm
my
going.
God, I'm your senior, damn it.
Yeah. So now I'm going into back to get my degree. Yes. So yes, you can achieve your dreams.
Yeah.
If your dreams,
I think both of you, right, are a very rare case, right, where your day job is what you love and your passion is also what you love. Both of you. Yeah. So for myself, right, when I was young, right, I always dreamt of being like astronaut lah. But then end up I didn't realize that you need to study engineering to be an astronaut. Then I my secondary school result was like shit. So my mom is like, okay, what can you do in poly that is closest to secondary school, since it's like, at least something that you've been doing for so long, which is like math, science, right? Okay lah, do engineering lah. Then I do engineering without liking it. But slowly I got better and better. And then I graduate. And then I'm like, okay, I'm done with engineering. I'm just gonna be a broke ass musician. And then that's my life right now lah. So I didn't really aspire to be a musician since I was young, right? But it was like I discovered it through my life lah. Yeah. So that's my situation. And what about yourself?
So for me, it's a bit more interesting. So I wanted to be a cashier.
Last time when I was young, I wanted to be the drive rubbish one.
Okay, specific reasons why I wanted to be a cashier, right? Because I always follow my mom to the supermarket. So I always I'm very mesmerized by them tapping on the keyboard at the cashier machine, but they don't have it now. It's all touchscreen. So I don't want to be a cashier anymore. But I used to get made fun of for having this dream of mine to be a cashier. So that was quite sad. No one should make fun of anyone's dream. Okay, but now I'm doing UX UI design, which is something that I didn't study. I did study design, but I was more in like the industrial design ones. But because I graduated like 1 year after COVID, so I decided like, okay, physical is not gonna be sustainable for me, so let me go digital. So I'm doing UX
Physical
UI.
design.
Yeah, physical product design.
Oh, physical
Not
product design.
sustainable.
It's not sustainable. At least in Singapore, it's not.
Right.
Like
But-
everyone can go Taobao now to get $20 chair. Why would I pay $200 for a designer chair?
Yeah.
So
Got
I
some
decided
influencer from LA.
that's true.
That's why. LA.
Yeah, you need to go LA
only
to design for other people.
Yeah, so I just decided to do UX UI design.
Yep.
That's my full time, and my part time is to teach UX UI design.
Damn.
Yeah.
But do you like have like a particular passion for it, or it's just like something that you apparently you're good at doing, but you're not actually passionate about?
I like the very nerdy part of it, which is customer experience or consumer experience, which is very research and insight heavy. So that is the nerdy part of it lah.
Right.
Yeah, and maybe also like the back to the cashier dream, maybe that ties into it. Because pressing buttons. Pressing things or like, the clackety clack of the thing.
Yeah.
Maybe that translates into like maybe DJing, you're pressing buttons, right? I don't know.
I need to make sure my customer is happy.
Yeah.
By being, by serving them properly.
I must read the crowd. Right?
Yeah, must read their faces, then understand what they want. This is their problem, whatever they solve. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, for me, if I recall, it was a combination of scientist and astronaut because I just watched a lot of Dexter's Lab, Kids Next Door. Then they're always flying to space or like building robots and all that. Then I kind of really liked that. Then so naturally, I took an English literature degree.
Wait, what? What's the link, bro?
Exactly. I think I eventually realized I like the stories more than I like the actual work that needed to go into it. I just took just took a degree in English literature, and now as you can guess, I research cybersecurity. So won't go too much detail of my job and all
Top
that.
secret, classified.
Yeah, classified.
Is it like penetration testing?
Not even that. It's more of like just
penetration testing. That's what she said.
It's more of studying kind of social aspects of
social engineering.
Cyber, a little bit of that. That
is really cool. That is
because
really cool.
You can have all the best defenses you want, and then you just put your password on a post-it pad, and then it doesn't matter. Like that. So I guess it's interesting to me, like why that happens, why that still happens, and all that. So I won't go too much detail about my what I do now, but this kind of my really pinball kind of trajectory. I always see myself as like a pinball. The Microsoft last time, the Windows XP, the game. It's just a ball that you just shoot, and you don't know where you go, then you hit this thing, and you go left and right. That's how I did. So I'm just parkouring from one thing to the other. But somehow the skills all kind of also feed into everything I do, because I liked stories and all that. That had to do with science and imagination and all that. So that fed into my passion for books and literature. Then also now because I deal with social aspects, right? Things like narratives matter also. So that still feeds into it. So I don't see anything as kind of wasted or anything, even though it seems very, very random lah. But at the same time, I think things have a way of coming together. So that's me.
I think everybody have a natural inclination, right? So it's like when you are good at something, you naturally gravitate to certain jobs. There's less resistance. So even though it's no link, but still you can create a link out of the
or do it myself.
Open format DJing, bro. This one.
Open format. Yes.
Open format live.
Later we can go a little bit about his open format, man. He's fucking insane. Okay, we're talking about club DJing, and then suddenly he can be on a scene, and then he start doing some ambient stuff. And we can cover a bit later lah. But just now, right, before you came, right, we were talking a little bit about why the fuck nowadays, right, everybody need to be doing a million things. So do you know both of them? They are okay, this one you are going to be masters, right? You're going to pursue your masters.
Eventually.
Right? Eventually. This one got masters already, and then still teaching. They both of them are teaching, and then they still do DJing stuff. And their day job is also super demanding. And obviously, I'm also doing a million stuff. You also trying a million. You speaking a million language. Go learn archery, learn Russian, hook up with people. The fuck, it's crazy lah. So why do we have this inclination to do so many things? Isn't it we are killing ourselves? And since we are all discussing about burnout and all that kind of thing, right? We talk about burnout, but we keep doing it to ourselves. Why do you see that that's the case? Do you have any idea?
I think it's because because these days, right, one is very incredibly easy to be productive. It's so okay, if you were to take let's say some guy in the 70s, right, just to coordinate a single meeting, right, would take up your whole day because you have to call 7 different people, you have to schedule everything. In one day, you probably can maybe write 4 or 5 letters, and then you have to send them out everything, and then you maybe can only do a few documents. So what you can do for a single day in the 70s is what you can literally do in 2 minutes right now. So 2 minutes you can schedule a meeting with 7 people, send out 7 emails, do everything, and then you're able to just do the productivity of 100 people back then. So now right, because that level of productivity is so easy to achieve, we just do more stuff because we now have so much time to do everything.
But then what becomes the new line of productive and unproductive?
Oh, the market rate go up, right?
The market rate goes up.
Holy shit, man.
I think for that, right, I think it really depends on yourself and like who decides what is productivity. Like, okay, the problem is that the market it always requires more productivity, but there's a certain point where like it doesn't become productive, that kind of stuff. That I have no idea how to answer.
Okay. So there's this new trend on TikTok, right? That people always show that like, join me on my 5 a.m. morning routine.
Oh.
Kind of nonsense.
Wash your face. Wash your face.
So like that gives an illusion of like how someone can be this productive, right? By being awake at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, okay, you are up at 5 a.m. and then what?
The quality of work is very low.
Yeah.
You're doing a lot, but it's not high quality work, maybe. Or high value work.
Yeah.
Does the value of your work, right, is determined by how much money you can earn from that work?
No. no, it's definitely not.
Is it? Yeah, because most people is like, hey, this guy very successful. They're not talking about how happy you are. They're talking about how rich you are, right? Yeah. So like, I don't know. At what point does like earning money is like stop, right? It's really more like a personal.
I don't think there's a stop to it.
钱不够用啊, money not enough.
No, there is.
More.
Okay, it's how much money you need is determined by yourself.
Yes.
You can always say no to more money.
Mm.
Right? You just say, okay, this is my life now, right? I'm pretty happy. I don't need more money. I can just continue this life.
Yeah.
Right? The problem is that everyone. Okay, this was like what one of I forgot his name, but it's like Pirate Software Studios. This guy Thor, he's basically say that if you imagine you are as a goldfish, so goldfish, right? When you give them a bigger pond, they'll grow to the size of the pond. So the bigger the pond you give them, the bigger they'll grow. But what happens when you reduce their pond? They cannot fit into the older pond anymore. So if you reduce your lifestyle expense to something that you know you are comfortable for like maybe the next 10-15 years, once your pond goes bigger, right, you don't expand to it. You stay the same as much as possible for as long as possible. And then when say maybe something happens, then your pond goes down, right? You're able to fit back into your old pond anyways, despite having a bigger pond later.
But back to that, right? It's also like humans, we are naturally potentially greedy. I'm not saying everyone is greedy, but as we get more, we will elevate our lifestyle to a certain level, right? And then that's when you realize that like, shit, I don't have a lot left, so I need to earn more. So when you get more, then you elevate your lifestyle again. And then you realize that, all right, okay, there's still something out there that is better. We are all like digging into the social media world. So we see people living that life. And then we are like, oh, you know what?
Yeah.
Let me try to do it.
Yeah. That's called lifestyle inflation. And
hedonistic lifestyle.
Yeah, it's a very hedonistic lifestyle inflation. It's a complete lifestyle inflation. And that's actually the one thing which is like you need to be very aware of your own lifestyle growth. So like rather than like yeah, you're right, some people are greedy, so they just keep going. But the ability to tell yourself, no, I don't want more, right, is very difficult.
You pray.
You need to be very conscious of your choice to improve your life or to stay the same.
That is the modern day of like enlightenment, you know.
Yeah,
like last time, you know, you journey to the west, you seek enlightenment. Right? Now it's like enlightenment on how much I want to spend. Yeah. Do you all actually track your expenses?
I do. I do track my expenses.
Really?
I only started this year because I realized that like I don't know where all my money go to.
Do you do weekly?
Yeah, I do it by weekly. So like I give myself like a weekly budget of how much I want to spend based on how much I want to save. And then after that, minusing like off all the like mandatory expenses that I cannot avoid, right? Like insurance or like whatever thing that I need to pay for. So depending on that and whatever other factor, I'll decide like, okay, this week I will have this amount of money that I spend. That's why I want to track everything. Yeah.
Actually, that's good. You should track everything. Like everyone should track all their expenses. Not always, but like for 1 year, you track all your expenses, and then you figure out from where you can cut, and then what's your base minimum. Because that's what I did when I started working, where I tracked every single dollar of my first year of earning. Then I know, okay, this is how much I spend normally, or this is my bare minimum. Then after that, right, I know what cost I can add or what I don't add.
Which I think is very interesting because how I've noticed it change for me, right, is that I kind of like built a habit of like okay, I'm not gonna get a coffee today because I will need to save up for the weekends because I have plans or whatever, right?
Oh, yeah.
It kind of turns into a habit, and I think 1 year is a good amount of time to decide like, okay, these are things that I want to cut, and then these are things that I want to save and whatever, right? And then I think like for people like you who don't go out that much,
Hey, exposing me on that camp.
Hey, it just means his lifestyle cost is low.
Yeah.
All three introvert, no, yo.
So do you like track or not? Because this guy is an extrovert. He goes out every day, right?
Okay, I'm an extrovert that don't go out because I'm an extrovert go-getter.
Such a lie.
Yeah, really. You tell me where I can go out. I have literally no time. The past 3 days, I don't even have time to sleep. So let alone. I go out because I do gigs lah. Yeah, or I shoot content.
But those are still money that you are spending, because you need to like eat, you need to get your whatever, then you need to transport.
Okay lah, I don't need because
you fly there.
You fly. Go down there, got my free drinks, got my sugar daddy and mommy.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I suppose. For me, I track, but not with the. I don't think with the amount of granularity that you give it. I don't do I don't itemize everything.
Yeah.
I just sort of I know within the ballpark of how much I'm spending, and then like I just see if the net amount goes up. I'm in the green. If I'm in the red, then okay, then I need to cut certain things. Because also like I guess my expenditure really like varies month to month, as happens when you like audio equipment. So I mean, I just maybe this month don't just delete the carousel app or something like that. Things like that. But yeah, like, I do have a conscious I do make a conscious effort to kind of keep track, so I'm not just completely sinking under or like just throwing money at every synthesizer that comes my way and all that. All that kind of things.
I was telling him he can start his own YouTube channel like Chronicles.
You can start your own YouTube channel for synthesizers.
But the market quite saturated, honestly. SynthTube is like it's been around it's been like kind of bustling for a few years, and I think there's too many people doing it now.
Honestly, so, everything is saturated. It's how you throw your own.
How I throw
it.
So
the reason why I think we are going into this like the basis of saving money, right, is because we are all interested in the creative field. And then the creative field is so like uncertain. And if we don't have a base, right, it is very difficult to find fulfillment in our life. It's like our creative work is really so chaotic, right? The last thing we want, right, is our finances to be chaotic. I think you need to have a lot of like anchors in your life, right? Before you can be creative and chaotic, because creativity is chaotic by nature, right? So I think that is like the main source of quarter-life crisis, which is like you all don't know whether what you're doing now is it right, identity, identity crisis.
That's it.
So I think like step one is track your finances with more granularity so that you can eventually be more loose about it because you already got an internal ballpark. And then from there, then you decide what you want to do. So when you say the goldfish example, right?
Why does this sound a bit like a finance podcast?
It's like
I finance from non-finance people.
This is not financial advice.
Please do not listen to us.
You put a disclaimer before.
Because right, as a musician for so many years, right, I realized that the thing that is stopping me, right, is always money. Like whether I want to turn down a gig, whether I want to be creative, everything, right? The root of the cause, right, is all about money. When you're younger, right, as a musician, you're wide-eyed, you are ambitious, right? You don't really see that. You are just like, living bare minimum. Then slowly when you get into a relationship, when you want to start a family, all these start hitting you, right? Then you finally, quote unquote, wake up and start caring about that. That's where I feel like I escape my quarter-life crisis. I realized immediately what I have to do. Secure funds first, then after that, then you can think about the creative angle, your identity and everything. So like his example, right, of like you are a goldfish and then you grow bigger with your pond, aka your earnings. So eventually, right, is it ever too late to quit your job when you don't like it, or will you feel like you are like stuck because of you are so comfortable with that level of earnings?
For me, I think comfort is a very scary thing.
Right.
Like once you get comfortable in some space, especially at your job, right, that is when most people will like stop learning things, which is where like you will get stuck in life. Can be quite scary because like with inflation and cost of living going up, right? If you are just constantly there in a company for like 10 years and you get like a raise of 5% a year, it's not gonna be a lot. But once you change job, you can potentially get anywhere between a good 10 to 20%. Which is why like a lot of Gen Zs or like younger generation people, they are just considering like this point, right? Like, okay, 5% sounds good, but then if I can get 20, why am I not getting 20? Yeah.
So will you hire someone, right, that work a job 1 year quick to get the increment, work another job 1 year quick, 1 year quick, 1 year quick, like zero loyalty, that kind of people?
Interestingly, I'm one of those.
Oh, will you hire people like that?
I will, because they are very hungry for things. Like, I kind of feel like there's a passion, there's a limited time of passion, right, that you actually want to do this job for. So for like me, I go in, I'm interested, then I do 6 months, 1 year, then I'm like, okay, I'm bored of this topic already. So like, for me, mentally, I will have a block, and then I'll just be like, unmotivated to learn new things, I'm not curious anymore. So that's when I tell myself like, okay, you know what, it's time to go. And I think like a lot of HR, they are also quite understandable based on like things like that, right? Because like we are thinking about so many things, like whether we are still motivated or not, whether there is career growth, like whether it is based on like your company progression, the company is stable or not. There's so many like different factors, right? So usually they will ask you, and if you don't give like nonsense answer like, oh, you know, I'm bored really, that's why I go. Usually they are okay with it.
Yeah, but then like let's just say you are like trying to maintain a company, right? How would your hiring plan go, right? When everybody is having this like identity crisis, like I work 1 year, okay, so I want to change something else. Oh fuck, how you maintain your company when everybody is just coming in and out every year, you know? Then the new guy, you must reteach everything, you know?
You know what? I think you are the best person to answer this.
I don't know. I haven't solved it yet. That's the problem.
Okay, so coming from my corporate side, right? Okay, so it really depends on what is the skill set you are expecting the people to perform. If the skill set you are expecting the people to perform is very common, like say UX UI design, then hiring and firing people doesn't really matter, because anyone can come in, create a new website exactly the same style as what you did. But for, let's say, my job, it's not possible, because it takes, like, I only just started my job like 8 months, and I barely am able to grow. Not say I barely, but like there's so many things to learn. There's still so many things to do.
Just scratch the surface. Like.
Yeah, I'm just barely scratching the surface. And if let's say I keep moving up in semicon, right, it's gonna be even more difficult to hire and fire people. In my previous company, they absolutely don't retrench people as much as possible, because the moment you retrench someone, you lose like the decade of experience, and that is far more important to them. So
their increment very lucrative, very attractive, is it?
Yeah, it's actually quite attractive, because they need people to stay. Yeah, so it really depends on the skill set you are offering to your employer.
So does it make you irreplaceable?
I would say it makes it very hard to replace. Like you can't fire me, because like if you fire me, then my skill set is not there. Then you maybe need to spend like 2 years to train someone else up to replace me, which is a long time. Yeah, it is.
He's an AI system. You need to train as you go. Then with more information, right? That's when you get more powerful.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think for me, the interesting part is that my field changes every week and all that. If like, I mean, cyber, AI, that kind of thing. There's always things to see and kind of learn. It's just the nature of it. So, I mean, I don't know. I just started this job not that long ago. I mean, in it for a while, but not that long. So maybe I'm still wide-eyed and all that. But at the moment, I still, for me, I still think there are new things to learn, and the rate at which these new things come in doesn't seem to let up. In fact, it seems to be intensifying, because with all the technological advancements across the world, there's always something to kind of learn about. So that at the moment, right now, that still excites me. I don't think I'm going to experience that stagnation soon. Then to the point of comfort, I like comfort. Okay, opposite. Okay, yeah, I can't
Same.
I can't function without aircon at least negative 19. So like not negative, but 19 degrees. That kind. I like comfort. I think it's okay to kind of float for a while and kind of bask in what you have and take stock. Because getting over obsessed with the next thing coming when you don't know what it is, it just overrides the present moment. even if the present moment has a lot to offer. So at least at the moment, I would say I am content. I mean, career progression wise, I do consider these things, but I also see them as things that will come when they do. Then I will go for it. Then eventually, I'm also open to kind of leaving my current profession for something else if an opportunity presents itself. Although I don't necessarily need to keep hopping, at least for myself, because it's in my current kind of capacity, it's comfortable, but yet also lets me grow. I can grow comfortably. I don't want to. I mean, life is too short, so I don't want to suffer as I grow, so to speak. If you understand, like I want to kind of develop in a healthy way. I think like healthiness is something that we overlook a lot in with a lot of hustle culture and all that.
Yeah.
So I'm very fortunate to be in a position where my day job kind of balances really well with my hobbies, all the music stuff, and all the other things I like to chase lah. So it's a nice place to be. That also allows progression. It's not static, but it's not unhealthy either. So yeah, I think that's what I like.
So
right
you see now
yeah.
the Gen Z trend, right? Are you all considered Gen Z?
I would say yeah, I am.
Right.
Yeah.
You're the oldest.
We are the oldest
Yeah.
possible Gen
Gen
Z.
Z. Yeah.
Don't know all the skibidi
I am
toilet.
I am the beginning of millennial. I'm like, yeah. 1 year before me is Gen X.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Oh.
Gen X. Then I'm millennial. So I'm the first millennial lah. So I see the Gen Z trend, right, is that they like to hop, right, to increase salary. But then the thing is, right, they also talk about work-life balance and having more time versus money, right? So when you hop to get that percentage increase, right, aren't you effectively also working more? Yeah. And that defeats the whole entire purpose, right? So it's very contradictory, which I see back to our topic of quarter-life crisis, right? They have this dilemma, gaining 20% more is like so attractive, but then I am like burning myself out. So it's like so contrarian.
Yeah.
Don't you think so?
I think the problem is that how like the saying, you are as an accountant, you work in the Big Four for 5 years, then after that you come out and work at a simple job. I think that's what's going on where
you grind first.
Yeah, you grind as hard as you
DMT.
can. Yeah, then you come out and then you relax.
Oh.
I think that's what might happen. But a lot of the younger Gen Zs are the people who are just starting their careers.
Right.
So maybe in like, I don't know, when they finally hit 30, they'll finally relax a bit. So maybe that's where the trend will change slightly.
For me, I think like work-life balance is important for me because I have so many other things that is going on, right? But fortunately for me, the thing is like my work is bound to a laptop. So I can literally work anywhere.
Digital nomad.
Yeah, which is why when I look for new opportunities or job, right, I always make sure that that role is either like a fully remote job or at least like hybrid so that I have like time to play with. Because traveling like to and fro work for a week is like easily 10 hours. So there's so much more that I can do with that 10 hours, whether it's like I'll take an hour more of sleep every day or like go hit the gym or like whatever. So that is like, at least my criteria is there so that I can still have the capacity mentally and physically to go and like do other things. Even though I chase the money also.
So then the proportion is quite difficult, right? Do you value more free time or more money?
I value both.
Very hard lor, that's why very hard to find the next jump lor.
I want the money, but then I also
want
want
the free
to.
time. I want the 白费的午餐，免费的午餐。
It's funny, right? Because my job physically cannot be done on a laptop. My job is not on a laptop at all.
Semiconductor.
Yeah,
fabrication.
Few engineer. I have to go down to the customer side to fix their stuff, and then my laptop is basically useless to me 90% of the work day. So that's also one cool thing because my work is entirely off laptop, right? Very hard to replace me.
Oh yes.
Yeah,
yes,
see,
yes.
I think that's the thing. If you have a lot of like physical skills, like, it's hard to replace. So because of that, I'll never be able to work from home.
That's why like when you talk about like how you two talk about like technical skills and stuff, right? There's always a debate as to like, okay, when I'm looking for a new hire, do I want someone with more soft skills or technical skills? Because technical skills I can actually learn it at the job, right? But soft skills are things like how people think, their mindset and whatever, which is more irreplaceable,
Mm.
and it's usually like where HR people are like, okay, I want to look for people with this kind of mindset or that kind of mindset.
Actually, no, the thing is HR don't even know how to search for soft skills.
Some of them actually knows.
How?
Like, okay, so there are interviews that I go for, right, that I'm just, in my head, I'm just like, this HR don't know what they are looking for. But then there are also certain places that I feel like, shit, this HR knows everything that they want, even though they are not in the department, right? But because of the way that the company internally communicates, they know like, okay, I want someone that is hungry to learn more. I don't need someone with like perfect skills. Maybe you just come in with like basic and whatever. But then like, I want you to be like a certain way. Like, I want you to know how to communicate in this manner. Or like, I want you to be very driven to like learn things, and I want you to be like an extrovert that can ideate and speak freely to people.
I think there's this sort of paradox between wanting free time and also wanting more money. It maybe comes from kind of stuff from our upbringing, because I mean in Singapore we always thought like we are competitive from the
I
get
watched
go.
SpongeBob SquarePants. Patrick just watched TV, then the money comes. SpongeBob SquarePants.
I want to work at a Krusty Krab too, man. But I mean, like, because from young we are taught to be competitive, but then as we get older, we also start to see the value in valuing our own health and all that things. Kind of alternative.
Wow, when you reach 30s, man, welcome to my life.
Fuck, man. So like, we see all these things, but then yet we have all the kind of, in a sense, baggage from our upbringing that then now has to jostle with our new values and our new awarenesses of all these other things that are non-monetary, like quality of life, like kind of quality of sleep, all these kinds of things. Yeah, right? So we try to it's just like kind of just hitting you know. So we have to hold these two, in a sense, oppositional values in our head at the same time. It's paradoxical. Then I guess part of like this whole process, finding jobs and going through that's how we work through it lah. There's no easy one size fits all solution for all this, but I mean, I think we just need to figure it out for ourselves, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that lah. So we just go on our way and do that kind of things.
I think traditionally, when we look at back in the day, right, not even my time, but my parents, our parents' time, right, a job title is everything. I'm the head accountant for Straits Time, you know, it's like such a big fuck lah. But now everybody's jumping career, right? Does it mean anything anymore, like your job title? Or like you can flaunt to people like, hey, I got a lot of free time, you know, I work this job. Is that more of a flex now?
I think so.
Actually, I think both of it matters, because if like you have a lot of side hustles like we all do, right, then everyone's kind of like amazed, like, wow, how can you do so many things with the same amount of time that I have in my life when I cannot do it at all? But then at the same time, like,
so that's a flex.
That is a flex.
More than you, okay?
That is actually a flex. And then like the other side of things is like, okay, why does title matters? Because it matters to the older generation, which are the people that hire us.
At the moment, they are
yes.
still the bosses.
At the moment,
Maybe 30 years later when we are
you'll
there, we'll just
you'll
be
get
like,
a Gen Z
whatever.
CEO who like with the skibidi
Yeah.
toilet.
That makes a lot of sense lah. Identity, I guess like I'm in the middle of the Gen Z and our older generation, so I really see both perspectives lah. But then I feel like without proper job title or without like gatekeeping, right, I feel like we are letting through too many nonsense as well, right? So anybody can be anything now. You know, there's no like qualitative test, to like judge whether you are good
QC,
enough.
yeah.
QC, right?
I mean, there's this thing called I forgot where is it from, but like there's a saying that all managers are incompetent is because people always promote the best performing person until they become incompetent and they cannot move up anymore.
Wait, what? Again?
So for example, like let's say I'm at this level, I do well, so I go up. I'm good, I go up again. Then I hit a level where I'm just bad at it because I'm not good at the job.
At that level.
At that level. So what happens is that I become a manager at this level, but I'm at the level that I'm always incompetent.
You are bad for upper management, but you're good for management.
It's bad if I go up the level. So I won't get promoted anymore because I'm no longer performing well.
Right.
So all managers are incompetent because they are all stuck at the level that they are incompetent at. If they are competent, they will have gone up another level. So that's why there's this weird saying where like all managers are incompetent. Right. So if everyone has actually just gone down one level, like they didn't promote up or they stuck with their same responsibility, then
the world will be a better place.
Yeah, the world will be slightly better because then you have managers who know what to do.
Yeah, but then it all comes back to the same problem, the goldfish and the bowl problem, right? Yeah, maybe they expand their bowl until then big already, then they cannot, their lifestyle is still happening already.
Or on the other hand, they could also be still on their way up. I mean, we like to think of the growth. For some reason, we like to think of growth that happens when you are younger, and then when you are older, then maybe already made it already, then don't need to grow. But then, I mean, I would say even like older.
That's why got midlife crisis, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
That's another podcast.
Yeah. That's another podcast.
Yeah. So, but I mean, I don't think growth has to be linear or has to be kind of contained within certain age ranges and all that. There's no minimum age lah. So I mean, as much as sometimes you can say, managers might be in a sense hentak kaki. That's what we're saying. But I mean, maybe there's also room to grow. I don't know. It really depends on each company and all that. If my manager is watching this, I love you.
If my manager is watching this, no comments.
The amount of shit you are doing, man.
I know that people at my work know I'm on the podcast. That was when I just started.
They know?
Yeah, when I just started, right? I think one of the clips went viral. And it was like, why does this guy look familiar? Hey, isn't he the new hire? I was like, holy shit!
Oh my god.
Yeah,
but I think everyone has forgotten.
Talking about side hustles, just now he was sharing with us, right, that it is quite cool that his company is very okay with him to have side hustle.
Oh, really?
And it's actually like his differentiating factor.
It's okay. I would say. I mean, it's not like some. I mean, there are, of course, like as with any company where you take on a full-time role, you do have to declare certain things. Yeah. So, like for example, I would declare my external teaching roles because I also teach Ableton Live and all that outside of my day job. So I declare that. But so that's like on the kind of company policy side. But actually, on a like kind of just schedule basis, I'm very fortunate to be in a position where my work is my work and it's a sectioned off part of the day. Everything else outside, not generally they don't touch me.
Damn.
Yeah. And also, it's not just on the policy level. I mean, I'm very lucky, like I said. So I actually mean I say I like the work. I like the place I work. They actually respect this time a lot. So like sometimes I mean things happen. Then someone would send an email after the work hours. But then, at least where I work, there is this explicit statement that you don't have to reply immediately. You just reply the next day. Damn. I understand. Not everyone has this. I know. Yeah. So I'm actually very fortunate to have this. So there's this kind of separation between the work and my life outside and all that. So and I don't feel like I need to compromise on either. So when I'm in that work mode, I give it my all. I kind of like just. I'm there, I focus, I do what needs to be done. But outside of that, generally they don't kind of disturb unless it's really vital. And then but it's generally explicit that let's keep it separate.
We always associate this to Western companies, right? Western companies more like that because I think they are more creative based industry, right? But for us, like you're working for a Singaporean company, aka an Asian company, they usually clamp you, squeeze you dry, right? But now they also realize that creativity is the new currency. They need to give you a life.
The funny thing is that my company is exactly the same. So
mine is also the same.
Yeah. So actually
evolving already.
So the cool thing is that same thing. Like the moment my day ends, nobody talks to me about anything. You go do your own thing. Whatever you do afterwards is your prerogative. Right? Only when maybe like let's say emergencies like the customer equipment go down and then we need to call back. But then we have teams. So you only need to be on standby if you're on the team for the week. But other than that, not really. I can once I leave, I leave. Nobody bothers me.
Is this occurrence happening once you got your first job? Yeah. Because I lived through an era where we still kena squeeze until a period where it stopped.
For me, no.
You got kena squeeze one time. Then you find a new job, never gonna squeeze.
by a extremely big company in Singapore. I shall not name names, but
Okay.
it's corporate.
Okay.
And then it's in banking.
Mm.
So I think they are still very.
There you go.
How many-
No, banking.
I shall not name names.
You don't have to.
Drink. Forget about it.
They are very they are still in the very like old kind of mindset, right? So at that point when I was in that company, I was also studying. So my lessons are like 5 p.m, right? Which is like it crosses a bit lah with my work schedule. But I did declare when I went in for the interview. But then at the same time, not everyone knows about this situation.
Yeah.
So if I leave office earlier, right, like 4:30, I need to go
Some people
for
will
my
say,
class. All the
Everybody will
auntie,
say.
all the Karens are like non-stop about it, right? And I decided, you know what, I'm done. I'm going to quit my job. Because like my studies is my own thing, right? And it's also something that benefits at my job. So I don't think like I should be put in that situation whereby I become the bad person because I did declare this to this when before I was even hired.
Yeah.
Which is quite unfair to me lah, I would feel. That's why I decided like, okay, let me go to like a more modernized concept company with like maybe younger bosses. Not saying all old people are horrible, but like usually like startups or smaller companies, they are more supportive of like personal education or like growth, right? Which will benefit in your role also. So they are like, okay, if you need like to take 1 hour off, just let me know your schedule. Like we can just like there you go.
Yeah. I mean, same. My company, I think like the head guys, like the direct, not say director, but like the managing people, right? They are all like maybe only early 40s. So and then the thing is that I've gone out like company events, going and drink. They're very chill. Then they know that I'm taking my degree. They are like, oh, okay, if you need to go back home early, just tell us. We will let you go. Yeah. So yeah, I think the younger bosses these days are a lot more understanding
They're
about.
cool.
Yeah. They're more relaxed.
Yeah. I mean, not to say there can't be older bosses who also have this lah. I mean, my bosses are actually slightly older, but they also have pretty much this
Keep up
kind of
the
same
times.
policy.
Yeah.
I think especially where I work, brain power is currency. We need to be able to think properly. So if we are like completely just like like that, then like we can't do our job anyway, what? So like then we diminish the quality of our outputs either. So it's in everyone's benefit to have a healthy balance kind of work schedule. Although I do understand this is really industry dependent. There's going to be industries where this is completely not the norm at all. You're expected to OT without pay and all that. Definitely happens. I mean, So I think just personally, I'm in a fortunate position, but not everyone has that lah.
Actually, I think a lot of the unfortunate positions are in like the big legacy, high performance industries like lawyer, banking. I don't know what else. What else other than lawyer, banking?
Accounting.
Yeah, it's all the big industries with a lot of people.
But I think last time they want to keep you right within like 8 to 5, right? Is because they want to like milk their money's worth. They give you salary, you know. But now it's not about how long you can stay in that physical office, you know.
They're
It's
just
how
there
much you
to
can
show
accomplish.
face.
A lot of them playing
Everyone's
Tetris or some
just
shit.
sending emails and gossiping. Like, what are you doing with your 8 hours there? You're just gossiping. Do some work, man.
It doesn't have to be 8 hours. You can finish the work at 4 hours.
Yeah,
and fuck off.
literally.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, but on the flip side to that, I mean, I know we all like kind of, especially after COVID, we have gotten comfortable with remote work. But I would like just offer a contrary opinion, not to undercut the others, but I think going to the office is good. In that it creates again, it's back to the idea of separation. Because what COVID really taught me, I was still a student during COVID, but it still applies. Like when your workspace and your creative space, especially if you're making electronic music and all that, it's when it's the exact same chair and the exact same table with the exact same laptop. There is no mental separation between your leisure and your work. That was tremendously debilitating for me. I realized that very early on into the pandemic, about 2020, like that. So what I actually started doing, right, it was like I'll take some of my equipment to the park and then just do jams there and all that. Just change the environment or make changes and all that. So I found that kind of physical separation of the different places where you do work actually works lah. And it helps you to kind of have a more healthy relationship with the the various aspects of your life with your own duties, whether scholarly or now professionally, and your leisure activities. So I do actually still go to my office pretty diligently according to like whatever is expected. Like I mean, office days I show up in office. Then non-office I just work remotely. But then I do appreciate the time that I spend in the office, even if it's additional travel time and all that. But there is value in it.
Actually, the most craziest version of that is you have a completely separate desk, one for pleasure, one for work. So you have one you go to work, one you go to do your stuff.
But both work from home.
Yeah, both work from home. So you have to
I do that actually.
Oh, really?
Because my Ableton Live station is one computer, but when I work on the dining table or with another monitor downstairs. Actually, I use my mom's monitor. So it works.
Okay, so cool. That actually works.
Okay,
cool.
Yeah, I think it's the same for sleeping, right? You don't want to work and on the bed, right? So when you time to relax, then you got the 精神分裂, you know, the very nervous.
Yeah, so I got an antidote with it. So I used to work in my NS days as an EMT, and then the thing is that I got night shift, day shift, and it flips very fast. So 2 days night off, 2 days day off. So you have to be able to flip back and forth very quickly. What I realized is that you don't spend time on your bed unnecessarily. You don't sit at your bed and scroll your phone, because once you do that, right, your body associates your bed with doing nothing and you don't fall asleep. But once you only ever sleep in your bed and you get out of your bed immediately, the moment you return back to bed, you immediately will fall asleep. So never spend time on your bed just lying down doing nothing. You can sit in a chair and do something else, but never just lie down on your bed. That way you create the sanctity of sleeping in the bed. That works.
You make
that
it
really
sacred.
works. Yes, you make it very sacred.
I know a few people that need this.
A lot of people need this. A lot of people need to do
And
this.
especially for people that is having trouble sleeping, right? This will help you sleep so much quicker.
Yeah, it does. It really does.
So I guess all these like money, sleeping, how to live your life kind of stuff really will help make your life better. And when your life is better, then you won't be so stressed, then you can make better decisions, then you will get the fuck out of this quarter life crisis. Okay? So maybe we can end it off with this very common occurrence, right? When all your friends are getting married and you're not, right? I'm still in the club telling people to put their fucking hands up. How do y'all feel about this? At first I was like, should I be worried? I wasn't at any point worried, but I always ask myself, should I be worried, and why don't I feel worried? Because it feels like traditionally it's of age already, you need to get married, you need to have kids, right? All that kind of thing, you know. So I think for guys we can fuck around longer, you know, as in figure out what we want to do with our lives and all that kind of stuff, you know. But what about your perspective, you know?
I don't think I've ever felt pressured to like decide on like what age I want to get married or whatever. Because to me what's important is like I need to be able to afford to be married.
Yes.
Yeah.
Really? The funny thing is that a lot of women say that just the guy pay everything, so they don't need to worry.
I think
No,
like
this one different.
like-
She want to pay everything.
This is the mommy attitude.
maybe I could, but then I think like the bigger thing for me is I don't want to get married and just rely on someone also. That's kind of like the mindset that I have, because like who knows what's gonna happen. Like not saying that my partner won't support me or anything, but it's in a case of like what if he needs my support, I still must be able to step up to a level to at
Turbulent
least
times,
like to like cover the household or anything, right? So I don't think we are at the day and age as to like, we only need one breadwinner and that will cover entirely. Because it's not true anymore at this day and age. So that is like kind of my mindset. I don't want to rush into something and then struggle at that point when problem really starts to come up.
That's a good perspective. I'm also together with my partner for many years already, but we are not getting married, right? Because I feel like getting married is for other people to see, not for yourself, to be honest lah.
I mean, you guys are essentially married.
Yeah,
the way you guys act is almost essentially married. No difference, honestly.
Yeah. And then we are together like 24/7, right? So it's like technically, like what you said, we already married, right? But I think the key thing, right, that we need to consider, right, is about having kids. Because I remember there's this conference with Lee Kuan Yew, right, back then when he was still alive, right, you know, like resurrect or what. But he was like talking to this PhD student, and she's like, oh, I'm 29 and I'm still single. And then his advice is like, why don't you get a boyfriend? Because the percentage, right, of giving birth to a dull kid, right, when a woman is around age 35 is very, very high, as compared to if you are like giving birth when you are younger lah. So there's an inherent risk and body clock. Yeah. So I don't know if this will add more pressure if you are a female versus a male, Yeah.
You can't even afford the kid to begin off with.
So I think
So
maybe
what is the real pressure?
So I think maybe would you all consider adopting if you really want kids, or just have animals?
Animals.
Adopting is fine. Like there's so many other ways to like contribute, right? If you really like kids or anything. Like for me myself, I donate every month to support kids elsewhere. And that like gives me like a sense of like fulfillment to a certain extent. So even though I want kids, but I'm not like, okay, I need to have kids by like 30, if not I'll have a dumb child.
So whenever you're financially ready, then it can be either birth or it can be adopting.
Yes.
Actually, the thing is that a lot of guys don't really want to adopt because they see having kids is continue their bloodline, like as if they got something to.
There's some kung fu drama, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe like back in the day, the people that work in the 8 to 5 office.
Yeah, some people are just obsessed with like wanting kids to continue their bloodline. Like why? My bloodline dies with me this year. Not this year. I get a vasectomy. No, the bloodline dies with me.
But I think like another school of thoughts is also that if I were to give birth when I'm younger, right, and I'm not as financially stable, I will need to spend a lot of time working when my kid is growing up. So I miss a lot of like milestones that they might be going through, right, which is not something that I want. So I would rather be that financially stable first, so that eventually when I have kids, I'll be able to spend more like quality time to watch them like grow up like step by step. Right?
So remember just now before the podcast we were saying now HDB is $1 million. So right, will we ever reach a time right in our life right where we will be 50 years old, then we have enough money to have children?
Potentially.
Oh my god!
If we don't do side hustles, we might.
So everyone, that's why everyone's a DJ.
Everyone's a DJ, but no one's getting paid these days. So
we're doing something wrong.
So I guess that's why, right? We are being forced into this position where we need to do a million things. One source of income is not viable anymore. Both parents have to be working multiple jobs, and it's getting more and more stressful. Is there a solution to this? I don't know. What do you all think?
just don't have kids,
Make it easier for yourself, right?
It's so it's such. I mean that even the Lee Kuan Yew stuff and all that. I would say that one is. I don't know. I mean, what he said about all the what after a certain age and all that. I mean, it's rooted in a lot of the kind of the traditional practicality that we always see Singapore articulated through lah. And then that plus all the traditional like even older like kind of Asian values and all that must continue the bloodline. Not sure where that comes from and all that. But I mean, now we are in a day and age where we have the benefit of hindsight when we look back and all that. So we see all these. We see all those like the kind of artifacts of the past, and we can acknowledge that maybe they are not quite so relevant for us now. I mean, sure, you can still fall back on the same practical. You need people for your workforce, blah 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 blah. Then but ultimately, like, what do you want out of your own life, right?
Right.
Do you want to just like arbitrarily do something to maybe contribute to society in some abstract, non-definable way, and then or do you want to just live your life on your own terms lah? So I mean, so it applies to everything, not just having kids or getting married and all that. Do the traditional values align with your own values, and would you be happy acquiescing to the traditional values, or do you want to do your own thing and all that lah? I think that's the questions that we have to ask ourselves. With regard to all these kinds of decisions. And for me, I like cats more. So
Hey,
I got 2 cats.
But like extending from your point, right? I remember right back then when I was still resident DJ at Zouk, right? And then I was finishing my set at Capital, and then we are like everybody's like partying and drinking, right? And then there's this very solemn guy down there, and then he's my friend's friend. And I asked him, okay, so what are you doing now, man? I'm studying political science and I would like to change the world. I'm like, what the hell? This guy's a bit too serious, man. And I feel that some people have that kind of anger, right? But it's very difficult to change the world as an individual. You need a lot of people's collective effort, right? I think from my own personal perspective, what I would love to do, right, is do what I like, right, and at the same time, right, hopefully whatever I like bring joy or create some positive impact lah. I wouldn't use the create a positive impact as the leading factor because I'll probably be burnt out, you know. I want to do what I like first, right, and then as a result, if it can benefit, that will be perfect.
Or those things can run parallel. You can do the things you love, but also like changing the world is we are really like kind of taught from young that we need to be some big hero kind of figure and all that to change the world, but real change doesn't happen from one individual. Like you said, it's collective effort. So I mean, collective effort can come in the form of like collective charity, like mutual aid, those kind of things. Then that's where you can invest some amount of energy. I don't think anyone should be expected to personally shoulder the weight of the entire world and all its problems and all. That's way too much. But then if you can find a way to kind of contribute to some sort of collective help or like just help someone, then maybe you can turn the tide in a certain direction. There's no guarantee, of course. But then you can do that, and on the side also conserve enough energy to kind of develop yourself as a person in a healthy way.
And just now, right, again from just now, extending from your Hans Zimmer conversation.
So
we
actually, had a Hans Zimmer conversation.
if right, you see, right, this figure changed the world, this person changed the world, they are just happen to be the figurehead of the change. A lot of people's effort, right, is put in place, right, for this person to rise up and be the figurehead of the change. Like Hans Zimmer, one of the most decorated film composers of all time, The Dark Knight, Inception, and everything, right? He is like the face and the idea guy, right? But behind him got like 20 people composing, 65 guitar, 20 cellos, you know.
Your session musicians, the people running, the sound engineers running the session.
But nobody know all these people.
I mean, Hans Zimmer, not to discredit his work, I love his work and all that. And clearly a genius on his own, right? And he likes synthesizers also. So but at the same time, like, you have to recognize, like, when we see all these big names and all that, they are analogous to a head of department.
Tiesto.
So Tiesto is the head of department and Tiesto is the brand. Right? Hans Zimmer is the brand. Like you go to a movie with a Hans Zimmer score, you expect a certain sort of, I guess for Hans Zimmer, it's all the grandeur and all the wow sounds and all that. But then a lot of work and a lot of effort from all sorts of like individuals from different departments, different walks of life would have gone into kind of giving you that final product that you see or hear and experience. So nothing is really done alone in isolation. As much as we like to think of ourselves sometimes as like heroes that can take on everything, we generally can't. We are not very good at that. And I think we should embrace like just relying on other people and having friends to help you, friends and family that can aid you in your own goals and also collective goals.
Especially in Asia, we need to start forming more allies. You know, Asia is all about one-upping each other. Hey, my family bigger than your family. You know? So, okay, to close this off, right, what is an advice, right, you would give to your teenage self, right, or your younger self, so that you can reach your current level quicker? Okay, give a moment to think about it. You know.
Actually, I know what to say. I just feel
paiseh.
Feel paiseh to say.
Okay, then I start first. Or you start?
No, you can start.
I start first. Okay, I would say, right, that I would I would still be doing what I'm doing right now, like music, DJ, and entertainment kind of stuff, right? But I would say, okay, I'm very different because I already know what I want to do from a very young age. Like 18, I already know I want to do DJ, entertainment kind of stuff from a very young age. So I'll continue doing that, but I would tell myself, right, to focus more on the feasibility on the financial side first, because the financials will power everything. So I should focus, right, my early years, right, trying to find either people that will sponsor me or related jobs, right, that can pay me, right, to fuel this company that I have lah. And then once this base is there already, right, I can start to be more creative. I can be more choosy about the jobs. Like I don't need to pick up any Tom, Dick, and Harry job, right? I only collaborate with brands that I want to work with. I only play shows I want to play with, so that my brand can be very proper in a sense. Because I don't need to care about the money already, because the first thing I settle is money. A lot of musicians, right, they care about the sound, your technicality, your skills, right, all these that don't pay the bills one, right. Then eventually when they come to a point where they need to start caring about the financials, right, then they sacrifice their art. Yeah. So we should think of it as reverse lah.
Yeah.
And music should be viewed as a business and not
Hobby.
not I would say a job. Like a job versus a business, you know. Yeah. Music is very, very business-esque lah. Like Pitbull say, music business, right, is 10% music, 90% business. How you negotiate your DJ fees and everything.
It's a bit sobering, but that's the way the game is played currently lah.
So that is my advice for my teenage self. Like, I hate to hear it, right, but I need to focus on financial literacy first. Then I care about my turntablism skill. That should like come second lah. Then when I got financials, then I can all in fucking jam 8 hours a day. You know, don't need to worry so much. Oh, your turn?
Okay, I can go first. I think my advice to my teenage self would be to not try to heal anyone else that is not yourself, because you end up spending a lot of like mental capacity trying to do things for others that is not yourself, but instead should just focus on like building on what you want and what you need in life before you attend to someone else.
Like aeroplane, when the oxygen mask come, you put yourself first, then you put your child.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. That's you know, you prevent you from wasting so much time.
Yes.
Alright, so for me is, if I could tell myself to not live up to other people's expectation. Because the one thing was, okay, the thing that I really regretted was like dating someone like my ex, which completely fucking destroyed me as a person back when I was like 16 to 8, between my poly years. But the reason why I was like so deep into the relationship was because that my goal was to always get a relationship, like, you know, live the proper life, like get a girlfriend, you know, get married, BTO, continue that pathway as proper as possible. And because I was so focused on trying to get that goal, right, I sacrificed myself entirely for that relationship, to the point where when we broke up, I was so lost as a person, I didn't know what to do, right? And then that's why I had to, I didn't say I had to take an extra year in poly. During my NS days, I didn't know what to do. I was like very lost as a person. But to be honest, right, if I didn't date her, if I wasn't so harped up on the idea of getting a relationship, that I was a failure as a person if I don't have a relationship, right? I would be in a much better position in life now than I would have. So don't live to people's expectation. Just do what you want. You know, make your own life this own expectation. Have your own expectations of your own life.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks for sharing. Thank you. It came from here. Thanks. For me, I'll tell you, switch to Ableton Live. The audio editing capabilities are much more like the time stretching. The Logic one introduces so much artifacts in the time stretching, and unless you're just making like lo-fi here. Okay, I'm kidding. Yeah. I use both Logic and Ableton Live. Okay. Advice to myself. Be more confident because you know what you are doing.
Yes.
You absolutely know what you're doing. You have known what you're doing. You've done this since you were 12. Not a lot of people can say that. Your skills are very valid. There's going to be a lot of people who will tell you that this isn't viable or there's no point to it if you're not turning it into your if you're not turning music, into your full-time job. But at the same time, when you open up an instance of Serum and you sweep a filter cutoff down and like it just cuts off the frequencies in such a beautiful way, that sense tingles down your spine, doesn't it? Right? Yeah? Right, yeah. And there's a love and joy that comes in that, and you shouldn't be embarrassed by that, and you should like just absolutely embrace it. Don't listen to what other people are saying. Throw yourself into this as hard as you possibly can, and just like just enjoy the process. Because I mean, just to give context, I absolutely feel this way about music now, but it took a while to reach this point. So because there was a while I was thinking like, oh, why should I even do this? Is it even worth it? But then I just go back to the fundamentals, like, why am I doing this? Because it makes me happy. Because I turn the knob make nice sound and I'm happy. Then and there's nothing wrong with that. you shouldn't feel like there's something wrong with you or you're the weird odd one out just because your kind of interests don't align with the people around that of the people around you. Yeah, everything you are doing is valid, and yeah, just enjoy yourself.
I think everything happens in cycles, right? So whatever you're doing might not be like able to monetize, but eventually one day it will trend, right? And then suddenly your skills are highly sought after. That nerdy stuff that you do in your garage or your bedroom becomes like very valuable. Yeah, very similar to like the Porsche modifier. Akira Nakai, right? He's just like breaking apart cars and then fixing like wow modifications to it, like for many years, decades, and then eventually somebody is like, hey, that's valuable. Wow, suddenly then what? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. In 2011, I was making Dark Side Trance for fun. I played it for my friends and they did not get it and they made fun. And it's almost basically made fun of me, like what the hell is this and all that. Then like in 3 years, EDM popped off. Then now everyone going all the ultra. I was there. I was like listening to that stuff before it was cool. I wasn't there. It's illegal. I was too young. But yeah. So yeah, you're right about the things of trends and all that and what comes into vogue. Sometimes you are just a bit faster, early, or sometimes maybe you are late, but again, it's a cycle, so maybe you'll come again at some point. Yeah, right? Yeah, and doesn't really matter what point you are at. Enjoy yourself. Yeah.